My traditional Caesar dressing on my website gets the widest variety of reviews. You wanna know why? It's because making a Caesar dressing is not about an amount of ingredients. It's about managing salt and taste testing. Dressings are hard to make because you can follow Joe Schmo's recipe and it might come out great on Tuesday, but maybe on Wednesday you use a different olive oil. Instead of kosher salt, like he said, you use table salt. Instead of anchovies, you skip out. Maybe you don't have enough salt now. There's a lot of reasons why when you're making a Caesar dressing, you have to be tasting at every step. That's why we use several salty ingredients when we're making a Caesar dressing. For example, we have number one, our anchovies, extremely salty. We have Worcestershire sauce, salty. We have salt, just in case we didn't have enough salt. And we have Parmesan cheese. All of these things we use to help create depth in the dressing and to give you that flavor that is so well known when you taste that Caesar dressing. This is a guide.
The code is more what you'd call guidelines than actual rules.
To teach you how to taste test yourself into the best Caesar dressing. Whenever I make a dressing, I always use a metal bowl like this. Reason, I like the way the whisk does that sound. No, when you use a metal whisk and a metal bowl, you're really able to emulsify the olive oil that you're putting in. And first things first, our egg yolks. We're gonna put our egg yolks into here. There we go. And I'll save these egg whites for tomorrow morning, and I just kind of like add them to my eggs. Pop that right in there. Let's do one more. And what the egg yolk is it's the main emulsifier within the dressing. So it's what kind of holds everything together. Without the egg yolk, you can still make emulsifications. They're just much less stable. The water is gonna separate from the oils. No matter what you do, it's eventually gonna happen. But with egg yolk, it makes it a lot easier to not have that happen. And we're just gonna whisk it really rough until it gets creamy. You can kind of see it starting to happen. You can see the yellow starting to lighten up a little bit. Now what we're gonna do is slowly drizzle in the olive oil, and I mean slowly. One little trick I use when I'm doing this is I take a wet paper towel, and this isn't rocket surgery, but I just put that there like this. This way when I'm whisking, the bowl doesn't spin around as much. This is the fun part. What you have to do is slowly drizzle in the olive oil while combining it with the egg yolk, like drips at a time. And the reason you have to do this so slowly is you need the molecules time to emulsify with the egg yolk. Put the bowl on its side, let gravity bring the dressing down. So we're gonna add the last bit of olive oil here. Oh, my arm. So we got our Caesar dressing here. We want it to be nice and thick like this. First two things I add are lemon and Dijon. Why? Without lemon in a Caesar salad, you would get a very mouthy feeling. The lemon helps break through some of that fat so that you're not getting that sensation that you do when a dressing has just too much fat to acid ratio. So we're gonna go in with about a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of lemon. The reason I add in the lemon and the Dijon at the same time, one, I like the flavor. Two, it acts as an emulsifier and helps stabilize the dressing for a longer period of time. The next thing we go into it when we're making Caesar dressing is pepper and garlic. So I go in with a little bit of pepper, then I'm gonna go in with some garlic. Put this to the side for now. What I'll tell you about the garlic is you don't wanna add too much, so I do a little bit at a time. I'm gonna go with 1 clove for now. It's a pretty big clove. And what I do is I take it, and I smash it. And this is gonna be the best way to get a minced paste. One of my least favorite things in a salad is when the herbs or when the garlic is really large and you can feel the texture in your mouth. So I just smush it down to the wood, chop. So we're just gonna keep doing that until we have a nice little paste here, and we'll put that into our dressing. This is what you want it to look like right here. We're gonna throw it right back in here. Zoop. And we're just gonna whisk all this together. And here is where I do my first taste test. So just gonna grab a little bit. Needs more acidity. The way I know that, the mouthfeel. We're still getting that mouthfeel that is associated with too much fat, not enough acid. So we're gonna mix in a little bit more of this lemon, not too much. That's better. What we're gonna do now is start adding some of our salts. First one I add, just a little bit of Worcestershire. Mix that right in. Taste test, a little sweeter. We're gonna add some of the anchovies next. I like to do 3 to 4 anchovies, and I do the same thing that I do to the garlic. I make almost a paste of it. The thing with anchovies in Caesar salad, everyone says you can't taste them. You can taste them. It's whether or not you know what anchovies taste like or not. Unless you're taking the fillet and putting it in your mouth, you're probably not gonna get fish flavor. But when you put it into a dressing, it helps create a lot more of like that savory umami flavor. You know, with those anchovies, whisk it in. So I don't want the Caesar dressing to be this. I want it to be a little bit runnier. So what I'll do, I'm gonna take a little bit of water and I'm gonna whisk it in nice and slow. You gotta go real slow with the water, otherwise it can break it'll break your emulsion. A little bit better. Just like a tablespoon or two of water, and that gets you to the texture that you want. Our next thing we're gonna add, we're gonna go in with the actual salt now. This isn't the last salt thing we're putting in, but it's one of them. About half a teaspoon of salt. I do like to let my Caesar dressing marinate for about an hour before I use it. You're not gonna get the garlic flavor, the anchovy kind of like creating that umami flavor throughout the dressing until it sits for an hour. Now we're gonna put about half a cup of Parmesan cheese in here. All right, and we're just gonna whisk this in. And that's our Caesar dressing. Now we're gonna make something really cool with it. I'm gonna show you this awesome wrap that you can make with Caesar dressing. It's delicious. First thing we gotta do is put the dressing away. So I'm just gonna run it right in here. Just throw it into a mason jar. And this will keep in the fridge for about 3 to 4 days. That's our Caesar dressing. Let's make a wrap. So what we're gonna make is a kale and chicken Caesar salad. Instead of croutons, we're gonna use garbanzo beans. We're gonna season them and roast them and make them really crunchy and crispy. It's delicious. So let's open these up and rinse them out. After I rinse them, I put them on a paper towel and I just kind of roll them around to get them as dry as I can. I just toss them on a tray like this. Go in with a little olive oil. A couple simple flavors, a little salt, a little pepper, garlic powder, just a pinch of oregano, just a little bit. Mix them up really good so that they're completely covered in oil, in the seasoning. Put them in there at 375 for about 15 minutes. We're gonna use lacinato kale for the kale. Don't use curly kale unless you have to, I guess, but I just prefer this one. I think the flavor is way better. We're gonna peel them off the stems, so you'll end up with like these little green stems right here, and you can just toss these to the side, save them for soups, whatever. And all I do is I grab the stem, kind of wrap my thumb and forefinger around the kale, and just pull it out like that. And we'll set those to the side and we'll chop them up in a minute. I'm gonna add some chicken cutlets that I just fried up to this too. So we got these 2 chicken cutlets. If you want the recipe to my chicken cutlets, it'll be below in the description. These are just classic Italian chicken cutlets. I make these every Monday. We're gonna take our chickpeas out of the oven now. All right, so we're gonna grab our crispy chickpeas. All right, we're gonna put those to the side, let them cool for about 15 minutes. We're gonna drop the kale, throw in some of this chicken, some chickpeas. I'm gonna shave in some Parmesan cheese in a second, but first we're gonna go in with the dressing. So let's go in with a little bit of that Caesar dressing. Just combine everything. What I like about this wrap is that even though it's like lettuce in dressing, it doesn't get as soggy as like a romaine lettuce does in a wrap, because kale is just so much more fibrous that it's better day 2. So I can make these a night in advance and use them for lunch the next day, which is what I'm gonna do tonight. So let's make a couple of these wraps here. And then we're gonna go in with a little extra Parmesan cheese. I just like a little extra Parmesan cheese in my Caesar salad. Usually I'll do big flakes, but for the wrap, I'll just do a little extra grated Parmesan. I might do 3 wraps. For wraps, I also like to do a little strizzle of the dressing on top. Roll, tuck and roll, you know? And you get these little wraps, and they're perfect. When I'm wrapping them, I try to push as much of the stuff to the side that I'm standing on. Then I fold it over, wrap and tuck, and just start folding, trying to keep everything inside, obviously. So we got our kale Caesar salad wraps. We're just going to take it, cut it open like this, and look at this beautiful sandwich. Like, tell me, how are you gonna beat this little sandwich? It's perfect. It's like a little beach snack. It's perfect to take to the beach. You could take a couple of them. You can get the full recipe for my Caesar dressing on my website, link below. If you haven't yet, check out our website. It's alwaysfromscratch.com right here. And like, comment, subscribe right here too. Or maybe it's over here. Like, comment, subscribe, because that's what this is about. I want to show more people some of these things that I do at home. This is always from Scratch Kitchen. My name is Vinny, and this is how I make a Caesar dressing and a special little like salad wrap snack that I make. It's kind of like a snack wrap. Think snack wrap. Let me get a bite. Mink, yeah.
Always from scratch. Do 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 do.